Okay, hey, come here for a second. Sit down, get comfortable, grab a blanket or whatever you do when you're about to have a real conversation, because this one's going to feel personal. And I want you to feel like you're talking to a friend, not listening to some polished podcast host. So let's talk about draining friendships. Yeah, that topic. The one you've probably been avoiding because it feels messy and emotional and confusing. And I get it, I've been there too. You know that feeling when you hang out with someone and afterward you're like, why do I feel exhausted? Why do I feel heavier? Why do I feel like I need to recharge from a friendship that's supposed to recharge me? It's like you walk in as yourself and walk out as a dimmer version of you. Maybe you've been carrying the whole friendship. Maybe you're the one who listens, supports, checks in, remembers their big moments, comforts them when they're down, and when it's your turn, they're distracted or dismissive, or they make you feel dramatic for having feelings. And you start shrinking. You start editing yourself. You start thinking, maybe I am too much. But you're not. You're just giving your energy to someone who doesn't know how to hold it. Okay, story time. Because I want you to know I'm not talking about this from some distant theoretical place. I lived this. I had this friend, and let's call her M. We were close, like really close, the kind of friendship where you think, yeah, this person is going to be in my life forever. We had the best memories, late night drives, laughing until we cried, talking about our dreams like we were invincible. But then something shifted, not all at once, more like a slow leak. Every time we hung out, I felt drained, like I had to be on, like I had to be the strong one, the funny one, the therapist, the emotional sponge. And she never asked how I was. Not really, not in a way that meant anything. There was this one day, I remember it so clearly, I was going through something heavy, like life changing heavy, and I thought, okay, I'm going to tell her I need her today. We sat down, I started opening up, and she cut me off. Not even in a mean way, just in that careless, self absorbed way people do when they're not actually listening. She said, "Oh, that sucks. Anyway, guess what happened to me?" And she talked for the next 40 minutes. I sat there nodding, feeling myself disappear. And when I got home, I cried, not because of the thing I was going through, but because I realized I had been alone in that friendship for a long time, and I didn't want to admit it. I kept holding on because of the memories, because of who she used to be, because I didn't want to be the one who gave up. But one day, after another draining hangout, I sat in my car and said out loud, I don't think this friendship is good for me anymore. And it hurt. But it also felt like the first honest thing I'd said in months. So I slowly backed away. I stopped forcing conversations. I stopped trying to revive something that had already died. And you know what? I felt lighter. I felt like I could breathe again. I realized how much space that friendship had taken up, space that could have been filled with people who actually cared. Why is letting go so hard? Because you're not just losing a person, you're losing the memories, the comfort, the version of them you loved, the version of you that existed with them, the future you imagined, its grief, even if the person is still alive. And that's why you hold on. Not because the friendship is good now, but because it used to be. But you're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to protect your peace. You're allowed to choose yourself. Okay, so how do I actually let go? Let's talk about real practical ways. The kind you'd talk about on FaceTime with a friend who actually gets it. Slowly back away. Not in a dramatic way, just stop being the one who holds everything together. Let the distance grow naturally or create emotional space. You don't have to cut them off. Just stop giving them the deepest parts of you. Set boundaries. I can't talk right now. I'm not available this week. I need some space. Another one is to have the conversation. If it feels right, you can say, I feel drained in this friendship and I need to step back. It's not an attack, it's honesty. Walk away completely. Sometimes the healthiest choice is the hardest one. And if you choose this path, you're not cruel. You're healing. You deserve friendships that feel like sunlight. You deserve people who make you feel safe, people who listen, people who ask how you are and actually care about the answer, people who don't drain you, people who fill you. You don't have to shrink yourself to keep someone else comfortable. You don't have to stay loyal to someone who isn't loyal to your well being. You don't have to hold on to a friendship that hurts more than it heals. Letting go isn't giving up. Letting go is choosing yourself. And choosing yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. You're not alone in this. You're not wrong for feeling what you feel. And you're not a bad person for wanting peace. You're growing. And sometimes growth means leaving people behind. All right, before we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this because I know someone listening needed to hear it tonight. Ending friendships that don't serve you isn't cold, it isn't dramatic, it isn't being mean, it's self respect. And honestly, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is quietly step back from people who drain you, even if you once loved them deeply. You don't always need a big confrontation. You don't need a speech. Sometimes it's as simple as slowing down the replies, matching their energy instead of overgiving, letting the distance grow instead of fighting to close it. And other times, yeah, you might need that honest conversation where you say, I care about you, but this friendship doesn't feel good for me anymore. And that's okay. You're allowed to choose peace over history. I know it's scary. I know it feels like you're losing a piece of your past. But you're also making space for people who actually show up for you, who don't make you question your worth, who don't leave you emotionally exhausted after every hangout. So if you're in that place right now, if you're holding on to someone out of guilt or fear or nostalgia, take this as your sign. You're not a bad person for letting go. You're just someone who's finally choosing themselves. All right, I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.